on your computer, on your smartphone, on your Wi-Fi radio. We're localwebradio.fm.
Do you enjoy a nice glass of wine? Do you want to know more about wine pairing or the process of how wine is made? Welcome to From the Vine to the Wine with wine expert and connoisseur Matt Brzovic. Now, here's your host.
Hi, I'm your host, Angel Burch, and I am here with Matt Brzovic, your local wine expert with over a decade of experience. And today, we're going to be continuing our talk with Matt about the history and variety of wines in BC. Matt, how are you doing today?
I'm doing excellent, Angel. How are you today?
Oh, I'm awesome. And I am so looking forward to finding out more about the wines in BC. So we talked a lot about the Okanagan vineyards last week. If I were to take a trip to the Okanagan right now, what would I see? What would be happening in the vineyard?
Well, let's go back a little first. We'll go to mid-May, and that's when bud break occurred this year. In the spring, the vines begin to wake after the winter hibernation. New leaves start to form, new buds emerge, and this is called bud break. And it's always considered the start of the growing season. So though the weather is warming, the chance of a spring frost is always on the minds of the vineyards, the winemakers, as these new buds would be very easily damaged. Thankfully, that wasn't a problem this year. At the end of spring and into early summer, the embryonic grape clusters produce flowers and are fertilized. During this time, the weather is crucial, as poor weather such as freezing temperature, hail, or excessive rain could reduce the fruit set. Fruit set this year was mid-June and went off without a hitch. So midsummer, which is what we're approaching now, the grape clusters appear on the vines and the leaves of the canopy are now very abundant. In order to create the optimal conditions for ripening, vineyard staff will be going through and removing unwanted leaves that allows for the exposure of more sunlight, and they get rid of any fruit that did not properly set. It'll be pruned and dropped. Now, this pruning will continue right through the summer. So basically, if you go up there now, that's what you're going to see, people pruning and cutting the plants. So,
okay, why BC? What makes it so great for producing wine?
Well, with each passing vintage, it becomes more clear that BC wines have very special attributes. Our unique combination of environmental factors such as water, weather, topography, and geology create a habitat for vines which is unlike any other. Because of our northern latitude, our wineries benefit from longer hours of daylight and a greater intensity of light than many other regions. The extended hours of intense light play a critical role in the ripening of the fruit in our shorter growing season. So the Okanagan, it lies in a rain shadow between the coastal and Monashee mountain range. This results in a very low average rainfall, and the area between Oliver and the U.S. border, that's the northernmost tip of the Sonoran Desert, which happens to stretch from Osoyoos all the way down to the Baja Peninsula in Mexico. This makes the summers generally hot. Average temperatures in July and August are warmer than in the Napa Valley. Also, the next time you drive through the Okanagan Valley, keep in mind that what you see is the result of a glacier that retreated and melted, leaving the topography and geology that you see now. Not only are there a multitude of microclimates spread up and down the valley, but also very many different soil types.
Okay, Matt, so are all BC wines the same quality?
No, not at all. BC VQA is the appellation of origin and the quality standard for the wines of British Columbia. VQA stands for Vintners Quality Alliance. It was established in 1990. BC VQA wines have to meet a specific standard with respect to origin, vintage, and varietals. These wines are also tasted by a qualified panel for quality characteristics prior to being able to use the BC VQA designation. So to qualify as VQA, the wine must be 100% British Columbia grapes. 95% of the grapes must also come from the specified region, and 85% of the grapes must come from the vintage stated on the label. Also, 85% of the grapes must be of the varietal specified. Simply put, if it says VQA on the label, that's your guarantee that you're drinking a wine that is 100% BC. Now, there are also bottles that say product of BC. These are wines that contain BC grapes, but they haven't gone through the VQA certification process. And finally, we have bottled in BC or cellared in BC. When you see that, it means that these wines are blended from international and domestic wine. They're a blend of imported wines with differing levels of domestic or BC content.
I'm Angel Burch. I'm here with Matt Brzovic. And after the break, yes, we have to take a break. We're going to be talking about the varieties of wine found in BC, along with some advice on pairing those wines. We'll be back right after this.
More From the Vine to the Wine with Matt Brzovic after this.
Buying or selling a home on the Semiahmoo Peninsula? Catch up on local market conditions on This Week in Real Estate with Lance and Connie Marples from Sutton West Coast Realty on localwebradio.fm. To schedule a face-to-face consultation, you can reach Lance and Connie at 604-538-8888. That's 604-538-8888. And visit them online at www.surreywhiterockhomes.com.
Hillcrest Bakery and Deli presents Old Time Radio on the Specialty Channel on localwebradio.fm. Hillcrest Bakery and Deli prepares a delicious home-cooked meal, including dessert, just like Mom did. One weekend each month with specialty dinners for Easter, Thanksgiving, and Christmas. A favorite among locals, these individually prepared meals always sell out fast. Pre-order by calling Hillcrest Bakery and Deli at 604-531-1750. That's 604-531-1750.
Are you struggling with a dental or oral health issue? Dr. Norm Ickert from Ickert Dental Implant Center is committed to improving your quality of life with the very best in modern and advanced dentistry. You can catch Dr. Ickert on the Health Channel for the Healthy Smiles Oral Health Show here on localwebradio.fm and at the Ickert Dental Implant Center in Langley at 866-981-1381. That's 866-981-1381.
Shopping for the lowest mortgage rate? Looking to refinance?
Catch the Mortgage Newscast with Jared Dreyer
On the Business Channel
on localwebradio.fm.
Now, back to From the Vine to the Wine with Matt Brzovic.
We're back. So, Matt, what are some of the varietals that are grown in BC?
Well, one of the great joys of being a young wine region is that we're unencumbered by tradition. Everything is new, so everything is equally possible. Growers are free to plant whatever they want, and they have, with a vengeance. At last count, there were nearly 60 different grape varieties being grown in British Columbia. Everything from Auxerrois to Zweitgelt. There's something for everyone. Stylistic range is staggering, from the delicate herbal notes of Bacchus to the funkiness and earthiness of Syrah, or to the wild exoticism of Viognier. Few wine regions offer such diversity. Of course, we also have traditional varieties such as Merlot, Pinot Noir, Cabernet, Pinot Gris, and Riesling, and some of these can compete and win against some of the best wines in the world.
That's fantastic. So, Matt, last week we talked about wineries in BC as opposed to our Wines of the Week. Do you have some more wineries for us to visit?
Yes, I do. I attended this year's Bloom event in May, which every year features the new offerings from most of our top BC wineries. And every year I find a couple of great wineries that I've never heard of before. So if you're planning a trip into the Okanagan, stop by these two and check out their wines. The first one is Kalala Organic Estate Winery in West Kelowna on Glencoe Road. Kalala means miracle place and is a family-operated vineyard that produces some fantastic Okanagan wines. They're completely organic. The other one to watch for is Crazy Legs Vineyards and Winery in Calden. It's just north of Okanagan Falls. They produce a line of wines called Skaha, and they're very close to Skaha Lake, hence the name. Great wines and very, very nice people. Keep in mind that with so many wineries in BC, you'll never run out of options for something new to try. Wineries are still popping up all over the place, and you need to search them out. You'll find them hidden in every nook and cranny in the Okanagan. go out and enjoy what BC wine can bring.
Absolutely. Matt, thank you so much for those winery suggestions. And I do encourage everybody, go out there and check out these wineries. BC's got some really great wines, it sounds like. Thanks for your advice on pairing wines as well. Being a foodie, I got to check those out. So if you have questions or comments or recommendations for Matt, you can always find him on Twitter at VineToTheWine. If you enjoy what you learned here today, we also invite you to subscribe by clicking on the link right below in the show notes. Matt, again, thank you so much.
My pleasure as always, Angel.
We'll talk to you next week.
You've been listening to From the Vine to the Wine with Matt Brzovic on the Lifestyle Channel on localwebradio.fm. This episode is a production of Jam Media. For information on hosting your own web radio show, visit jammedia.com. That's www.jambmedia.com.
Local stories, local voices. We're localwebradio.fm.
The opinions expressed by our guest and host on localwebradio.fm do not necessarily reflect the views of Jam Media or its owners. No expressed or implied opinions of any product or service should be considered an endorsement or recommendation of any kind by Jam Media or its owners.